Welcome everyone. For some of you, maybe this is a space you return regularly. For others, it may be your first time. So wherever you are, you're welcome to be here exactly as you are. Before we begin, I just want to talk about a theme today. So the theme is when the body cries, from overwhelm to presence. So this actually comes from a feedback from our previous session, Q&A. This was one of the things that kept coming back. And many of us know those moments when the body becomes intense before the mind has words about what's going on. And it may feel like you get overwhelmed, tightness, tears, shutdown, pressure, panic, or a deep sense of unease that is sometimes hard to explain. And when there is no clear story, it can sometimes feel confusing and sometimes even frightening. Very often, this is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a body carrying expression or a protection mechanism in the only way it knows what to do in that moment. And so today we are not forcing meaning or trying to make anything go away. What we'll try and do is have you learn and then experience so that you can get a little bit more steadiness, compassion, and some space so that the overwhelm can begin to soften into presence. And we will begin with a short teaching, 8 minutes, 9 minutes, and then we'll move into an experiential work. Don't worry if you've never been here or you don't know IFS, just I'll guide you through, and then we'll open up for tuning fork using session for sound healing, and then we'll close with reflections and Q&A. You don't need to prepare anything. Just make sure you have that object which I send you by message nearby you. Can be a crystal, any object. Okay, a stone as well. Everything works. Okay. So let's begin by arriving just as you are. Sit in a way that feels comfortable enough for this moment, and let your body settle where it wants to settle. Soften the shoulders a little, unclench the jaw, and let the hands rest. And if it feels comfortable, you can close your eyes, or you can lower your gaze and just take one easy breath in and a slower breath out. Again, easy breath in and a slower breath out. And let yourself inwardly know you don't have to figure out anything right now. Now bring gentle attention to your body. Not to change anything, just to notice. What feels most present today? It may be calm, tenderness, or a pressure or a tightness, or simply a sense of something is here. And see if there is any place in the body that feels full, braced, heavy, or quietly holding on to something. No need to explain it. No need to make it stop. Just notice how your body is speaking today. And if it feels right, place a hand where you feel the most activation. Simply keep your hands resting. And inwardly offer a few simple words. I'm here. I'm listening. You don't have to carry this alone right now. Let the breath be natural. This moment is not about fixing. It's about making contact. And as we continue, let one gentle invitation stay with you. To notice what the body is holding without getting pulled away from yourself. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes and we will begin. So let's begin by naming something many people in this room know well. Sometimes the body begins to cry before we explain what is happening. And that cry may not look like actual tears. It may look like sudden heaviness, chest pressure, a pain that flares up, a shutdown, shakiness, numbness, agitation, exhaustion, or a feeling of I can't do this, even when part of you wants to do something. And when that happens, many people turn themselves against themselves. They think, why am I like this? I should be stronger than this. Nothing big happened. Why am I reacting like this? So the first thing we are going to do today is we are not treating body overwhelm as a weakness or drama. We are going to learn to see it as a meaningful way of communication. So when the body may break down before mind understands. So sometimes the mind is trying to continue normally, but the body says, I can't carry this in the same way right now. And this is why people often feel confused. Outwardly, life looks like manageable, but inwardly the body may be signaling overload. The body can cry through pain, through tears, fatigue, collapse, fogginess, tightness, or an urge to withdraw. And because the body's language is not always verbal, the mind may feel late to experience. For example, you wake up with a full day planned. Nothing dramatic is wrong, but your body feels heavy, resistant, almost unable to move into day. And your mind says, come on, be productive. But the body is already saying, something in me is overwhelming. And this is not laziness, this is information. Why this happens? When the load is too much, the body protects. So when overwhelm rises beyond what the system can comfortably process, the body often shifts into protection mode. And that protection may look like shutting down, becoming foggy, pain increasing, losing words, crying unexpectedly, feeling not well, or becoming emotionally flooded very quickly. And that's not the body failing you. It's often the body trying to reduce the load, slow things down, or prevent something from becoming too much. For example, you may want to speak clearly in an important conversation with a partner, with a family member, or a colleague. But just before speaking, your throat tightens, chest contracts, your mind goes blank. Later you may judge yourself, why couldn't I say something? But in that moment, the body may have been protecting you from an older experience of being punished or dismissed or overwhelmed when you try to speak. The body may carry what the psyche has not yet put into words. So not everything arrives as a clear thought like I'm sad or I'm afraid. Sometimes what comes first is an ache, a pressure, a tear, an image, a body memory, a collapse, or a strong inner no without explanation. The body may be holding an emotional truth, a protective pattern, or an old burden that has not yet found language. Take an example of rest, stillness. Okay, you finally sit down to rest after being busy, and instead of relaxation, you feel tears, pressure, or restlessness coming up. Part of you thinks, or may think, oh, that makes no sense. I'm finally resting. But sometimes stillness is the moment the body stops holding everything together and begins to show what it has been carrying. Another example where pain leads to decision. You're about to make a decision that is good for you, setting a boundary, saying no, asking for support. And suddenly the body becomes painful, foggy, or exhausted. That does not mean don't do it. Sometimes it means something inside is scared of the cost of change. So what I want you to remember from this is that when the body cries is not always meaning that something is wrong in the present moment. It may mean something inside is overloaded, being activated, it is trying to protect you, or finally expressing what it has been carrying silently. For many people with trauma histories, the body's cry gets interpreted as failure. Today we are making a different move. We are saying this is not a weakness. This is not too muchness. This is meaningful body communication. And we do not need to force a story, force a memory, or go deep right away. Awareness itself is a big progress. So if the body cries in this way, the next question is, how do I stop it immediately or quickly? And the question would be, how do I stay present enough to be with it without getting pulled under it? So let's go from overwhelm to presence. What helps before clarity comes in? So now that we have named what happens when the body cries, let's look at the next question. What helps before clarity comes in? Because when overwhelm rises, most people try to understand it immediately. But the truth is, clarity usually doesn't come first. Presence comes first. And this is key to the shift for today. Present doesn't mean calm. Let's be clear on some common misunderstanding. Present doesn't mean I feel peaceful, I feel good, I'm fully rested. Presence means something much simpler. I am here. I can notice what's happening. I am not only the overwhelm. I can stay in relationship with what is happening inside of me. So you do not need to be calm to be present. And this matters, especially for people who have learned to judge themselves the moment they feel intense. Sometimes the most powerful thing is simply, this is strong and I'm still here. So the real shift it's from inside the wave to with the wave. So when overwhelm comes, we often become the experience. It sounds like I am the panic, I am the pain, I am collapsing, I am a mess. But the move towards presence is little small change in the language. And it changes everything. So instead of something in me is overwhelmed, there's a pain here, a shutdown is happening, a strong wave is moving through me. So that little bit space allows different kind of inner leadership to return. Not control, not suppression, just enough space to stay connected. For example, take about panic or urgency. Instead of, I need to fix this right now, try something like, something in me feels urgent. Let me notice what is trying to prevent. And this shift makes you go from being driven to be in leadership or in relationship with that. So what helps before clarity? Before clarity, we don't force meaning. We begin with contact and curiosity. And there's a simple sequence, and we will experience as well today. So you notice something intense is here. You locate it, where and how it is showing up. It's in the chest, it's in the belly, it's in the throat. There are tears, there's blankness, there's pain. Where is the pain? Name the state. So you say, well, how does it feel? So I'm overwhelmed, I'm afraid, I have pressure, I'm shutting down, I have a lot of pain. And stay in relationship, and this is what we do, okay? Without fighting it and without obeying it. And that ask that one gentle question. What is it trying to protect? Or what is this trying to communicate to me? And this is enough. Clarity usually comes after presence, not before. Example, shutdown. Instead of, why am I like this? Try something like, a shutdown is happening. Let me stay with it and see what it is protecting me from. For example, in a pain flare, this pain is ruining everything. Instead of that, try, there's a pain here. What might it be trying to do for me right now? And look for an answer. What makes overwhelm worse? Common mistakes. There are few things that usually intensifies overwhelm. Forcing meaning too soon. Arguing with the body. Shaming yourself. Trying to perform calm. Focusing only on the outside trigger and missing the inner signal. When we do this, the body often gets louder because it doesn't feel that you have met it correctly. The body settles more through being met than through being pushed. For example, tears, body crying. Instead of, I shouldn't be crying, try something like, my body is expressing something. What if I can stay here with it? That one shift builds self-trust. What do I want you to remember? Today, we're not trying to get rid of the overwhelm. We are learning how to not to disappear inside it. And presence is the beginning of clarity. When the body is met with steadiness, it usually does not need to shout out so loudly. So as we move into inner work, we are not going to try and analyze or force a story. We are learning how to stay present with what the body is carrying so that the overwhelm can begin to shift into connection and connection into clarity. So there's one gentle question I want you to take into. I send it to you as well, but just bring it in for you. Can you bring to mind a moment when your body became overwhelmed before words came, and notice what is usually making that happen? So just see if that brings you something, and we will slowly move inwards then. See what comes up. So before we begin, I'll just place a small object near you. It can be a stone, a pen, or a crystal, anything simple. This object will later become a placeholder outside your body where you can relate to what we meet today. Just know you are always going to be in control of the pace here. Nothing needs to be forced, nothing needs to be pushed through. If at any moment you feel too activated or pulled in, you can just simply open your eyes, shift your attention outwards, or ask what we are meeting to give you a little bit more space. And if there are other parts that keep showing up, other voices that keep showing up, which are analyzing or judging or rushing, you can just gently say inwardly, thank you to those voices, not right now. Please give us some space so I can listen to this part of me. Now let's begin by simply noticing your breath as it is already. No need to change it. Just notice the moment of your breathing. In your chest, in your belly, in your nose, wherever you feel it most clearly. And allow your body to rest in position that feels supported enough. And let yourself know inwardly, there's nothing to fix right now. I'm here to listen. Now gently bring your attention inward. Simply notice if there is any place inside that feels intense, tight, heavy, shut down, pressured, tearful, or on guard. And you may ask inwardly, is there a place in me that cries out now or in certain moments? And then just wait. Notice what comes up. It can be a sensation, a tension, a pressure, heaviness, pain, numbness, tear, an image. There is no right way it might appear. Now if something is present, see if you can notice where you experience is more clearly in or around your body. Or it may show up more as an image or a voice. Take a moment to simply notice how it is showing up. And just notice, how do you feel towards this sensation? Whatever you feel is completely okay. If you notice strong reaction towards it, you can gently ask the reaction to just step back a little so you can get to know what is underneath. And you might say inwardly, thank you. I know you're trying to help. Would you give me a little bit space so I can listen to this sensation in my body? Just become curious about it so I can know more about it. And see if you could get yourself to that place of curiosity. You're not trying to change, you're not trying to stop, not trying to make it go away, just becoming curious towards it. And from that place of curiosity, ask to the sensation that you felt in your body or that image or the voice, I'm curious to know, what is your intention for me? Notice what comes back. And then you can do a follow-up question. So I'm curious to know, what are you afraid would happen right now if you did not react this way? What are you afraid would happen if you did not react this way? And follow that up with another question. I'm also curious to know, what are you protecting me from? What is your biggest fear? Notice what came up for you. Just notice how you feel towards it now. Sometimes listening already changes the intensity. Acknowledge what comes up. And then ask a question. I'm curious to know, what role do you play for me in my life? And then ask you follow-up. How long have you been playing this role for me? How old was I when you started playing this role for me? They'll tell you an age. And just notice whatever sense arises, an age, a time period. And then ask a question, what was happening then that made you protect me this way? Just notice what comes up. So you may have seen what happened to a young version of you, and just notice how you feel toward this body crying now. Do you feel compassion? Do you feel understanding? If you do, just acknowledge that. You can say that makes sense. And you can also acknowledge by saying, no wonder you have been working so hard. Now bring your attention to the object that you put near you. Pick it up in your hand, right hand, left hand. Just simply look at it as you hold it in your hand, and let this object represent this overwhelmed alarm place. Not to push it away, but to give it a place where you can relate to it without being overwhelmed by it. And just notice the difference between blended with it, being with it inside of you, and being able to be with it from a distance, holding it in your hand. And you can say inwardly, I'm not abandoning you. I'm staying connected, just with a little bit more space. And notice how it feels. And then from this steadier place, gently ask. Now you're asking to the object that you hold in your hand, saying, what do you want me to understand about you? Or what do you need most from me right now? What do you want me to understand about you, or what do you most need from me right now? Just notice what comes up. Even a small insight is enough. Clarity often arises quietly, not as a dramatic realization, but as a simple inner knowing. So see if you can ask this object that you hold in your hand to name itself. And you can label it later. Any name is good. Now take a moment to acknowledge this object you're holding in your hand with its name. And you might inwardly say something like to this object, "Thank you for trying to protect me. I see how long you have been doing this for me. We don't need to rush. We can keep getting to know each other slowly. And then gently ask, is there something I can do that may help you not to alarm me in this way? Is there something I can do that may help you not to alarm me this way?" Acknowledge what comes back. Let it know that you will return again gently over next days. And just gently bring your attention back into the room. Notice the object that you hold in your hand or near you. And take one natural breath. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. And if you want, you can take a moment to jot down anything that you notice. And from here, we'll gently transition into sound healing. Okay, so we will go into sound healing now using tuning forks. Just to repeat the disclaimer, if you are sensitive to sound, or you have had you're having chemotherapy or had brain surgery or head injury, just you can lower the volume or disconnect and come back at the top of the hour. So what we are going to do, if you're new here, we are going to basically use tuning forks, different frequencies, between 144 Hertz, 174 Hertz and 528 Hertz. And what we will do is use a tuning fork to go into this torus, the biofield that you see here, by opening the channel. So the channel is between below your feet to the top of the head, so it goes through your backbone, all the chakras, if you know chakras. Okay, it opens that door, and once we open the door, then we run a pendulum to know which chakra or which energy center today we are going to work with. as a collective based on what came up for you. And to do that, once we know which energy center to work, we go to the edge of the curve. So if you look at the edge, wherever it comes, let's say it comes to your heart, so we'll go heart, left side. So we go 6 feet on the left to the edge. And at the edge is the point of your conception when you came into being, into this world, conceived. And then from there, go to the birth and then ages, up to you come to the edges where it's a present moment. So basically your biofield holds the timeline of your life. And if there is any event or thing that have not been correct, the tuning fork changes its frequency, literally. And I will tell you, okay, you are 1 year old, 5 year old, 10 years old, and this is what is going through. And we will use that as a way to then open the door and work through that. So this is how we are going to do, okay? So for you, just stay connected to the tuning fork when you hear. The other thing that you can do is breathing. So there are two kinds of breaths that I will explain how you do. One breath is you take a breath in. Imagine when you take a breath in, imagine the flow of the breath coming from top of your head, filling up your chest. So you're breathing in, creating this flow from top of your head, again the channel. And then when you breathe out, you're breathing through your feet into Mother Earth. So again, you're activating, clearing the channel. So that's one breath. You will do when I'll tell you to do. The second breath is whenever there is something difficult that comes up, an emotion that comes up at an age. So I will also say something like, okay, do this. Ha! And this is a way to release, okay? You will see the difference, okay? So if you've not been here, trust the process and just be in it, okay? If you don't feel comfortable, you can always lower the volume, come back afterwards, okay? Here we go. So you'll not see me, you will only hear me, and we'll start below the feet using 144 Hertz, top of the head, pendulum, and then go into your biofield, okay? Here we go. So I'm going to start below the feet. So everybody here is present. Here we go. So I'm now below your feet, pointing to the top of your head. Towards your feet, towards your head. So opening the channel from below the feet. Take a breath. Okay, so we're going to take a deep breath in and just ground. Okay, now I'm going to go to the top of the head and open from the top. Take a breath. Okay, you will not hear anything now. I'm going to run a pendulum from below the feet to the top of the head to know where are we working today. Based on everybody present here and those who are going to listen afterwards. Okay, I'm at the root. Okay, second chakra, Sacral. Very strongly. Okay, so it wants to work on the second chakra. So this is Sacral. This is just below your navel and on the left side. So this represents, from a biofield system point of view, frustration and disappointment. So that's what we're going to go into. So I'll go to the edge and start from the edge, and also I'm changing the tuning fork. It's going to be 174 Hertz now, and we'll start so from the point of you being conceived, and then go in. So immediately sacral got activated. This is also going to the back. So actually much more at the back. So the word that are coming is, when I come into this world, I'm not sure who is backing me up. If that makes sense. So there's uncertainty. And then it goes to the father or father-like figure immediately. And immediately brings a lot of sadness. So see if you can, if that makes sense, just breathe. And I'm going to use another tuning fork to release. You'll not hear it. And it's almost saying, because it suddenly just went down, saying that, you saw me, you can see me coming into the world, feeling not being backed, disappointed. So that is enough, if it makes sense. So we'll go back. And yeah, it happened last time as well, but it's the same. I'm afraid, I'm fearful of, so you're now in the mother's womb. And it's saying, I'm afraid to be into this world, fearful of itself. So it needs reassurance, your reassurance. In your own way, in whatever words you can do. It's like you are looking at this little baby growing up in mother's womb, which is you, and asking you for reassurance. Tell me you are going to hold me. Tell you are going to make me okay. Tell me, convince me that you are going to keep me safe. You. So that's what it's asking. Take a breath. So now birth. It feels better already, but one more word of reassurance to the newborn. So you look at this little baby that is you coming out into the world and give it some form of reassurance in your own words. If you have been parent, what would you say to your child, newborn? That reassurance, that kind. And if something is holding you back to give that reassurance, just know what it is and say, it's okay, this is me. I can't give reassurance to this little one. I can always apologize to him or her afterwards. But for the moment, I give the reassurance. And not be afraid of any father-like figure. Who seems to be somebody you're afraid of. Yeah. Strongly. Take a breath. Yep, that helped. He's almost telling me now, so now it's your present moment, saying, please tell to you that the only person, if ever you have to go back in time and bring some encouraging words, is to the newborn, the one in the womb, the one conceived. And your words matter, what you say to them. So take a moment to okay, so now I'm in your mother zone, so everything that mother went through in her childhood or in her growing up age, that you are carrying as well. It's like she's saying the same thing. This happened to me as well. So see if you can send love to her as well. Lots of love. I'm going to use another tuning fork. All your frustration and disappointment come from there. What happened to the little one and what happened to your mom? Like the needs of the little one were not met. So now we are on top of the second center, Sacral. We're going to release whatever we have picked up. Take a breath. Okay. Release it being blocked. Okay, we are going to start to close. And surround you with the 528 Hertz as a cocoon. Just take a moment to notice what is it being here now, after the sounds have settled. You may notice more space, softness, or emotion still moving, or simply a quiet awareness. Whatever it is, let it be enough. There's nothing to change right now, and if it feels natural, bring a gentle attention back to the place in you that you felt overwhelmed today. The place where the body was crying in its own way. Not to go back into it deeply, but just to acknowledge it is there. And notice something important. You stayed, you listened, you did not abandon yourself. And from inside you might offer simple words. I see what I have been carrying. Thank you for protecting me. And we are going to go slowly. And now imagine giving that overwhelmed place a little bit more room inside of you. And just allow it to rest. Let there be more space for both you and the feeling in your presence. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Take one natural breath. Feel the support beneath you, the chair, the floor, the steadiness of the ground. and allow your system to register right now, in this moment. It's okay to be simply here. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Welcome back.